quite nervous.
I feel like that's the first thing ever.
I really don't know what to do with my hands.
Like rest them in your...
I've been living in pretty much Queensland for the past 4 years, almost 4 years. I was living in Mount Isa, which is like way outback. I met a lady when I went to go watch the soccer and we became fast friends. She has bought this house here on Maggie and she was just sort of mentioning casually to me that she needed someone to look after the house because she didn't want to pay real estate to look after it. So I was like, oh my gosh, Jill, please, I'll do it. So I'm here looking after her house and getting some other people in the rooms. We got Nick pretty quickly because Jill found Nick on Facebook before I moved in, before I even got the keys to the house. But it took a while to find you.
Good on you. White dress, you just...
So I've been here since the start of January, so it's about 2 months to find you guys. That's just because it's been the quiet season for tourists on the island.
Do you think that you would have come to Magnetic Island if it weren't for Jill's like house connection?
Probably not, no. I've visited the island a few times and I love it here, but it is quite expensive to live here and it's hard to find accommodation.
How did you end up in Australia to begin with?
So I left the UK in February 2020. Terrible timing in the world. My plan was to travel the world for 2 years. I was going to start in Australia and slowly make my way back for 2 years and go back to my old job. But then we all know COVID happened, so we got stuck in Australia. I could have left, but that would have been a terrible idea. And I've just been in Australia ever since. I've mostly been living and working in Queensland, but I've been travelling to various other parts of Australia since then. But yeah, still here.
And you already had an Australian passport, right?
Yes. So I was born in Australia. I just grew up in the UK. So I've got dual passports. So I've got British passport and an Australian passport. So luckily, I don't have to worry about visa stuff, which is nice.
So nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm, honestly, like, it's such a blessing to not have to worry about all of that legal stuff. It's, such a relief. They're now following me. I don't know what they think I have, but I don't have anything. Okay, so I got brave and decided to go outside the gate and just start walking and just, it'd be fine. Came out of the gate and then they all surrounded me. So I'm currently being held hostage by about 20 horses. So I guess I'm just going to be here for the foreseeable future. Kind of stayed where they are. Thank God.
Can you talk about how you find work on the island?
When I ran out of money in like August 2020, I found an au pair job in central Queensland. So I started to do that. I was with that family for 6 months. They didn't need me anymore because their child was then starting kindy, like preschool. And I found another job doing the same thing down on the Gold Coast. So I was there for a bit. And since then, I've kind of just taken on like live-in nanny jobs because it kind of helps me travel around Australia, usually for free. You get to meet new people, you get to know like local areas a bit more than if you were just like passing by. So I do like childcare, I do like homework help, sort of home education support, cleaning, just home organising, that kind of stuff. So whenever I move somewhere, I'll just like go on the local Facebook pages, advertise myself and find work that way. And usually once I've got the first few jobs, I get work through word of mouth. So that's kind of how I work my way around Australia. I don't like working for other people, so I work for myself.
Yeah, what was your job in England?
So the job I left, I was doing sales and merchandising for a furniture company. I loved it a lot actually, and I was, ready to go back there when I finished travelling, but obviously that's not happening anymore.
Would you ever go back to that now, after living like this?
I don't think so. I meet a lot more people, and I'm kind of more, get a bit more worldly experience, and I feel wiser because, I meet lots of people, I'm in people's homes, I'm learning about their life, their family, and their experiences, and I've met so many different kind of people. Like all the families I've worked for have been so different in so many different ways. But you just don't get that when you work like in retail. I mean, you see people and you're socializing every day, but you're not getting any kind of like in-depth conversation or knowledge from those people. You're just like, hi, how are you? Okay, cool, that's $10.99.
Yeah,
Thank
then
you.
never
Bye.
see you
See you.
again.
Yeah, right. And it's not like, you know, it was good fun just chit chatting here and there, and I did love that job. But you just don't get that kind of soul feeding from it. But I do think probably the biggest takeaway I've had is that nobody knows what they're doing with their life. Nobody knows what direction they're going. Everyone is just winging it, and everyone has, you know, behind the scenes drama. Like, no one has a clue. So that definitely makes me feel better about life.
Can you explain what, because you've obviously been here longer than us, what living on Magnetic Island specifically is like?
So I've been here just shy of 3 months now. It's very casual. People are very, very nice and social. With it being very small, you do kind of come across the same people a lot and get to know those people. So you do kind of suss people out pretty quickly. There's a real community feel. I feel like, you know, in all the Facebook groups, people are like willing to help people out.
Do you still feel like you're in like the backpacker category, or do you feel like you're a local?
I've never felt like a local anywhere I've lived. I tend to live somewhere usually between 6 months to a year. Kind of call it slow traveling, because I still consider myself a full-time traveler. Yeah, I'm definitely still in that category. I'm definitely not a local because, you know, I'm new and then I don't stay long term. But I still feel in the middle, but I definitely feel like locals put me in the backpacker category. And often backpackers will put me in a local category as well. So I'm kind of like in that middle zone, which is so fine because it kind of allows me to kind of integrate into both spaces.
Yeah. So you're planning to be here for a year then, right?
Yes, yeah. So I'll be here. So it'll be 12 months.
Okay.
That's minimum.
When's the last time you lived somewhere for 12 months then?
Oh my gosh. I lived in New York for about 6 years. So that was the last time, and that was 2018, which is crazy.
Yeah.
No, 2019. Mistake, 2019 that was,
I feel like a lot of people would think that that's crazy to like constantly be moving around.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it works for you?
It definitely works for me, for sure. It's definitely not for everyone. I just like to see new places. I like to explore, you know. I'm not in a relationship, I don't have any children, I don't have any kind of attachments. So I just kind of, you know, learning and working and exploring.
Why was I recording that? Okay, I have to ask some questions for my American friends and family.
Okay.
So I always like to ask people, have you met a lot of Americans in Australia?
No! Well, I was saying this to you when you came to view the house. I genuinely think you two are the first Americans I've met travelling around Australia.
Wow, that's actually wild.
Right? That's why I thought when you were like, oh, we're from America, I was like, oh my god, I don't think I've met any Americans travelling.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people from like the UK traveling Australia.
Yeah, I meet a lot of Europeans, fellow British, which I suppose were Europeans as well, and I meet a lot of South Americans. I've met one Canadian girl. Okay. I love her. I don't know why that is, to be honest with you.
Not that, like, assuming you had stereotypes about Americans before, but if you did, how do you think we compare to, like, a stereotypical American?
Ooh, that's interesting. Do you know what I was saying to my friend about you the other day, though? You've lived in New York, but you feel very New York to me. Like, in my head, what someone our age who lives in New York, you fit what I would expect someone to be. In terms of being, like, the stereotypical Americans, you're absolutely not that. I know obviously stereotypes are not true. I've only travelled to America once. They're very, you know, everything is just like louder and bigger, and that's not necessarily a negative thing at all. But I find you guys are just not fully in that stereotype.
Okay,
Kind of.
Which there definitely is truth to that. To that stereotype that in America. What do you have there?
I've got tinned oysters. Oysters, of course. Cucumber. And just some crackers.
Nice.
We love a girl dinner. I did a little bit of work out in Bowyer, which is a very, very small outback town. It's about maybe like a 13-hour drive from the coast inland, and it's near the border of Northern Territory, Queensland. And there's like a population of 200 people there, and there's just nothing. I was there working for a nurse, so we were living on hospital accommodation. And at night time, it was just pitch black. Like you couldn't see anything, and like even in the day it was just like desert, red dirt. It was just crazy. There was like a little animal sanctuary in town, and there was an albino kangaroo, which apparently extremely rare.
Wow.
So I've seen an albino kangaroo, so I guess that's very unique. But just having that like real outback sort of experience for about 3 months, and that was good fun. Yeah, that was definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that's something everyone like asks about or wonders what the Outback is really like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people think that I'm experiencing stuff that would happen in the Outback, and I'm like, no, I'm like on the coast.
No, right?
So
yeah,
like
it's definitely like, and that's my one thing. I feel like lots of people, when they travel Australia, and depending on what visa they've got, they're not here for very long, so they kind of minimise where they go. But if all you do is just the coast, I feel like you're really, really missing out on real Australia, in my opinion. Even if it's for like just a short like holiday or to go to a rodeo or something.
Rodeo would be so fun.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever went into the Outback was for the rodeo. I got on a 12-hour overnight bus
Oh my God.
to get to Mount by myself to get to Mount Isa, and it arrived at like 5 a.m. and then I had to like get to the hostel, and it was just
Oh my God.
and yeah, that was my first experience. Yeah, it was it's good fun.
I matched with a rodeo cowboy on Tinder, so we should go.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm gonna
The
message
cowboys
him.
though, I feel like I mean some of them are very good looking and they're very strong men, but you won't get much conversation out of them.
How does Australian life compare to UK life, like where you came from? Like what are the
Ooh,
biggest differences?
okay, so I do have one very like standout. I mean, I'm getting bitten by absolute mosquitoes now. In the UK, you know, you go to work, you go home. You go to work, you go home. There's not too much out of work fun or activities or life. And over here, people just go to work to live. So we go to work, you make money, but we have a life outside of work. You know, we get home from work, you know, you go to the beach or you go out, you know, if you live in the outback, you might have horses, or there's just like a bit more of a life outside of like the work environment. And that is for lots of reasons, and the weather is a big thing about that. I like, you know, if the weather's not very good, you're not going to go out, you stay at home. And I think I would struggle to live back in the UK again. Like, it's a very casual lifestyle over here, and it's not in the UK. And I do wonder if that is more to do with the lifestyle I've chosen over here, or like if that's just an experience that people like expats experience, or if it's a legit difference. I couldn't tell you, but for me personally, that's my kind of
Oh, actually, might we?
Go on, Jazz.
Oh my God. I'm like, oh, my heart is going. Oh no!
Go on.
Oh my God!
It's really not as bad.
It's coming out of my chest.
It's really not as bad as you make it out. Yes!
Yeah.
Wow!
Oh, nice.
Like, whenever I do TikTok videos with myself, I'm always like, just like, stop it. What are you doing?